Yeah, it's the outright range. Oh, it is working apparently. That's a nice change. And by the looks of it, we also have sound. Um, since I'm not going to play, I will have all the effects at maximum for the optimal look. Want it to be pretty. And also have a bit of sound. That should not be in the speakers. Yeah, I need to unplug those. Just a second. There you go. I'll also put it in the Discord and then we shall begin. I have absolutely massive number of 0 viewers, so there's no hurry, I guess. I should put it in the YouTube one. Keep it on team even though we never do that. Okay. Are the levels fine? They should be. I didn't change anything from yesterday. Looking to my replays, I do have a few to look at. I won't look at every single replay here, that would be ridiculous. But I will go through some of them. This, not my name, but the replay, so this is a good one. Some of this I literally don't even remember. This, I know this one is good. They're not bad games, that's for sure, but they're not necessarily great. This one is also good. Remember this one. Yeah, this one is good. Of course, the T95 is always good. This one is good. This one was fun. This may be for a laugh. This is good. The T123 ones weren't exactly spectacular, but I guess I could include one. This, I like this one. This was good. STB, the Dead Rail one was the good one. What else? This, meh. This one was pretty cool. Yeah, this is a good one. What is this game? I don't even remember it. 62 on Middleburg, there was that one, yeah. And this is also good, so about 14 replays if you count 4 minutes each. That's a lot of time to spend on replays, so maybe I'll do the best ones first and then go through the other ones. I don't know. But well, until then I'll wait for someone to join so I don't just start rambling by myself. Well, this time commentating, expecting someone to actually watch this stuff after I'm done and it just remains on YouTube. But I guess if anyone is going to, I'm probably going to watch them. Dead silence, eh? Well, actually, while I'm waiting, I'll at least leave something running here. How about this game? Because I don't think I want to look at it in more depth. Although, you could make an argument as a roast mig sort of thing. Playing the best tank in tier 10, the Object 140. And yes, that is a joke. It's better for me, I don't know why. I gave reasons when I covered it more extensively in my video, but those are not the reasons why I like it more. I mean, there are the reasons why I like it more, there are the reasons why I do better in it. And I did do quite a bit better in this game, as we will see. This cursor. I'm gonna go to the screen like this. If there is one thing that 140 is actually completely unrivaled at, is snapshots and shooting on the move. It has the single best dispersion when moving. So moving the whole forwards and backwards or left to right. It is unrivaled. And so godlike on the move. And you barely need to aim, which is why I'm also using the supercharger, since you don't aim anyway, might as well have better penetration at distance and also better shell velocity, which helps especially on the heat and high explosive shells. And what also helps is the very good DPM. Now that only helps if you can aim and penetrate your shots, which I'm not really doing, but if you do that, the DPM is 3500 bit. That's pretty good. If you don't do that, it's no longer really good. If you miss a single shot in that minute, instead of 3500 you will be doing 3200 and suddenly you're an STB. So you've thrown away your DPM advantage, you have to penetrate your shots. That's the most important thing. And by looking real quick at the levels, I think I should set the game a little bit quieter. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. That should do it, I think. And I could also, while I'm at it, I could switch to the big minimap. You can see the WT went straight to the turret. The WT can go to the T-68 turret as well, but it has a much harder time. So, you know, the disadvantages of playing 140. And the advantages that you have of playing the 140, namely the mobility and the full armor, are not going to be used in this game. Yeah, I wanted for a second to go and help that flank, but I saw full HPIs for nope. I'm also one shot for the WT. I'm not interested in taking that fight. And this is how you do high damage. You stay alive and get the farm at the end. They also have nice aim, by the way. I also have a Yo that is still alive, and because the Yo is still alive I can play a bit more aggressively. He can either kill the Yo, case in which I get about 2 shots for his 1 shot, Or if he shoots me, he needs 2 shots to kill me, and then I can trade aggro with the Evo, and it's a lot easier to play this. As you can see, he's looking for the kill, and that allows me to keep farming him, and not a particularly interesting game. I made a lot of errors, and I lost a lot of HP, I didn't do much, and I ended up with 6500 damage because that's how the game went. It's as simple as that. So with that, we have gone over 10 minutes of waiting for nothing, and therefore let's get to the actual replays that I wanted to have a look at, so I don't just lose them. These aren't particularly interesting, so we'll go straight with the 268 on Canyon. This is one of the most interesting replays, actually, one of the ones that I wanted to have. And on Canyon, you don't really look for how many mediums versus heavies and that sort of stuff as much as on other maps. On Canyon, you look who can control the hill, and the enemies have Vickers and K91 and to a lesser degree the 121, while we have Centurion 701 or the ST1. That's not much, and nobody in our team is going hill, which is bad. Normally I would like to stop and try to shoot the hill, but there's nobody there. So since we're all grouped up, well, what we want to do is make a push, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm moving very aggressively from the start with the idea of making an aggressive push and getting... That's a nice samurai, by the way. I'm getting this corner for our team to then allow us to fight them, because otherwise, if you look where they are in the back right now, which I can actually show you where they are. That's the point of the stream. I can just stop, I don't really care. They are about here, and if you go up here where the Vickers most likely is, in this position, a bit lower, guess what? You can shoot them, and not only you can shoot them, but if they want to move up, you can keep shooting them. And that's the biggest issue, and being a Vickers, he has very good view range and will be able to spot them from great distance, like he spotted me and he bounced off my back. So that is really not a good situation. I'm alone here, which is also not a good situation, but I'm trying to keep the enemies somewhat distracted in order to encourage my team to move up and do something, because by staying back you just slowly bleed. The only way you win staying back like that is if the enemies just push into you one by one and you can just focus on them. That is not the way you want to play the game. You want to put yourself in a winning position, not hope that the enemy just throws. And here is where I may probably be too aggressive, even though I see T100 is moving up, I'm having teammates, let's go. And this shot is fine, because I'm still relatively far back, and if they push, I'm pulled down, they have to go a long way, and yada yada, maybe someone shoots their side. But here, I'm a bit aggressive and greedy, I want the HE on the 50B, which I do not get, so I've just settled for an easy AP in the side. And he's pushing me. I didn't really worry about him pushing me, even though perhaps I should have, because of this. He cannot clip me, he needs 2 clips to kill me, and I can just HE him. So I didn't even consider that he will go for that. Now he's dead. Of course, that was a bit dangerous, but he's dead. So that's what I mean when I say you should consider that the enemy plays well, but you should also consider what if the enemy does badly. Because in that scenario he made a bad play, but that bad play cost me a lot of hit points. So in the end, considering the 50B's position, he didn't do that badly. You know, he couldn't have done much, and he just got away with the clip on our most dangerous tank that is in the strongest position right now. I see the ST1 pushing in, so I intend to go for the E100. I'm being careful as I'm a one-shot now, and already on 7000 damage. I get this shot, and yeah, I'm not sure whether the shell went a bit right or it's just the horrible collision models of this game, which I did pretty bad, but something happened. So watch this. That was my favorite part about the replay. How cool is that? High explosive there. Splashing on the wall for 190 and now splashing on the wall again for the kill. I love that moment. Even though it took forever to do almost no damage, I just killed him and that was really fun, I loved it. But now we're in a 3 versus 3 and E100 is quite healthy. That was a misclick by the way, that shot. But he just crosses through the open and takes one from the K91 in the middle. And I'm not really liking his position. But my position here is pretty good, allows me to support him and you know, maybe I can HE the gorilla or something, maybe I can kill the Vikas here and I get unlucky here with every shot being there but not quite, and I went a bit too early and he just backed off. It's a matter of very little difference between getting and not getting those shots basically. But I wanted to get a kill on the gorilla essentially and the shot missed, and now yeah. What can you do at this point? Not very much. Because it's behind on this game, so this game over. There wasn't much I could have done at the end because I couldn't kill the Vikas, sorry. I was a bit of a one-shot for him, I couldn't really risk pushing. I couldn't do much about the gorilla, although that was a bit of an unlucky miss and I poked too early previously, allowing him to fall back in time. The K91 was full HP anyway, so yeah, maybe I shouldn't have been so aggressive on the 50B and maintained more hit points to be able to make a play towards the end. But that was a bit of a disappointing loss. Let's go to the next game now. 30B and Yukon, that was a pretty fun one. I think it's that one because I do have more AI as this one. And I have played these games, but for the older ones, like this one, you could say it's live commentary and the first time seeing because I really don't remember much about this game. All I know is it's going to be half of a platoon carry together with the T-22. And by half of the platoon it's going to be a proper platoon carry, except we are not in a platoon. But the two of us are going to do almost all of the work. I'm going for the corner, which is a bit odd, I don't usually do this, but since my tank is really fast and can play hold down, and I have team support, this is a fine play to make. And I'm punishing the enemy Crimea prototype. Very fine tank, I prefer the TB still. I'm not saying it's better, I'm saying it's more fun to play. And that guy really didn't play well, just got molested. And that's the first skill. Now moving on to the Leo. Enemies have captured B and we see a heavy tank around the A area, so I'm thinking there's not going to be too much here, but I still have to be cautious. Maybe there's our Yakpazi just gets spotted on the other side together with the light tank, so now we can just push in pretty hard. And this is where the 30B is so cool, because it's like a combination between Leo with the mobility and STB with the gun depression and turret armor, although it's flat out worse than the STB in terms of turret armor. This tank has really bad DPM for a tier 10 medium and it feels like an alpha tank. You can play pretty much everywhere, you have crazy good mobility and the gun depression and the pretty good turret, so you can move around the place and be anywhere, work every area. And it feels like an alpha tank because of the 7.4 seconds reload. That is using calibrated shells, to be fair, not Rammer. I played a lot of games with Rammer. Rammer is perfectly fine on the tank, calibrated is perfectly fine too, just play whatever you feel like. Yeah, but in this game I was using the calibrated and I shot what I could there, did over 3000 damage already. And now I'm moving around the back because I really don't want to get shot by the Jagdpanzer. And as our Vickers falls, it's now a 2 versus 3, but it's a T-22, so anything could happen. I'm therefore going to join him here. I have cover behind the house, I can shoot him. And if they push for the T-22, I can shoot them from the side. If they go for me, the T-22 can shoot them from the side, and this makes very nice teamwork. It's very hard for them to push us. Of course, they have the cap advantage and they could just pull back safely by covering each other's retreat, and then it would be a bit hard because we have the mobility advantage with 2 mediums, and the Vickers cannot really follow because we would just kill him. But no, they don't have to just drive into us, especially the Jagdpanzer that he doesn't even have a turret. There is no way he's ever going to shoot one of us because, well, one is going... Well, he will shoot me because I give him an easy shot here. I don't care, I want the damage. But if the game was still on, if it weren't already over, there's no way he could get a shot because wherever he's looking, that guy is not going to pick, the other guy is going to pick and shoot. And with that very nice setup there, making it very hard for them to push, we got a nice carry together. I did most of the damage if I recall correctly, but he didn't do bad at all. First class as well, yeah, class 1. So well played, Mr. from Karaboom from Focus. That was a nice game, very fun. We really enjoyed that teamwork at the end. Next. So we've done this one. 4005 on mines. No, I don't think that one's worth. This one isn't worth. Leo 1 on Canyon or Naval Frontier. I got 2 aces in a row here. Literally one after the other. You can see 1:42 and 1:47 PM. I don't feel like either of them is particularly good. Let's go for the TVP. And at the end, if I want to do more games, I'll come back for one of those Leos. I will have one Leo game in anyway, but it's not going to be one of those. So here we are TVP on Middleburg. Lineups are fairly similar. We have a TD where they have an extra heavy. I'd rather have the heavy than the TD, frankly, but what can you do? It's not going to depend as much on tank as it is going to depend on player, which might be why I'd rather have a heavy actually. So I go to my usual position to spot if their heavies are coming up, and there they are. TVP. Not sure I'm the TVP. There's the 183 down there I wanted to say, but I failed at speaking. And at this point, if you look at the minimap, our team is mostly city. We are only 2 tanks up, and they have 3 mediums plus the 50B that we know for a fact is coming up. So we're losing this side and we're winning the city, which is why at this point I'm resetting, I'm becoming unspotted, and I am moving back. And there's also the chieftain spotted now, and with that we know for sure we're losing this flank, which is why I'm going city. The enemy T-30 is also going city, which is a bit weird because they are actually losing that flank, not very good. So he's transferring from the winning flank to the losing flank in order to lose more tanks while losing the flank. Anyway, maybe he'll do well, you never know. So I'm pushing to the extreme here. Point is, I don't want to be where my team would be poking because nobody's poking, and if I be first then they would just shoot me. I don't want that. I want to create a different angle of fire and let the heavies or TDs that all have more armor than me, not these TDs but normally. Actually the 183 does have more armor than me I think, and the Toto is definitely to move up, but we still have the heavy D75 who is just staying back and doing nothing. He should be moving up as well. And I even decided to take a shot here to just get the kills because, as you see on the minimap, the upper side of the map is over, the enemy have run it, and I don't want to have people alive in the city when the rest of the enemies come from the top. If they have won their flank, we need to win ours and then make a sort of even fight between what the remains of the teams. they come from the other end of the city and these guys are still alive, we're just in a bad position. So that's why I push and take a shot there. Here's the 50B. He's apparently reloading. I should have pushed harder there, I mean gone further out to make sure I get another shot. That is a bad habit of mine. Just shooting and then moving back. And this is, I really like this play at the time. My idea was go up, and what this does is it puts pressure on them. I can go from behind and I'm very annoying with my big clip. And if they come after me or turn towards me, my team can sort of either go and cap or just push up, do stuff. And I should always be able to fall back down here, which is what I'm doing, because I have team in the city, but one of them caps and the other one of them is in the mouth of the city. They're not doing much. What this does is it puts me in a weird position where I have to get out of here, because otherwise they will catch up and kill me. And my support is nowhere to be seen, because well, one TD just died and the other two tanks split. Toto is not going to convince them of the errors of their ways. It's just 400 alpha, that's a lucky bounce. And at this point, it's fine, let's just win on caps. That's what we have to do. I'm turning here because I say, well, I'm no longer spotted, so I'll try to surprise the chieftain. And I surprise him in the open. I did take a shot, but I put out 3 shots, so I think that's a decent trade. And he kindly offers to drive into my gun, so I put out a full clip. That is a good trade to make. I do a lot more damage than I take there. And the T-92 rushes to the city and kills our bat chat. And I also take another shot from the chieftain, but I noticed Totos is going for chieftain, and even though the T-92 is the more dangerous tank and the tank you want to kill, I'm going to go for the chieftain because, well, that's what my Totos is doing, so it's fine, no? And this is where I completely mess up. So what I did here is I looked at my hit points, which as you can see is 630. And because I just had a glimpse, just a very quick look, I saw 530. So at this point I am convinced that the T-92 has me as a one-shot and he wants to kill me. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, well, since he's going to kill me in a shot, I don't want to take it. I'm going to hide here, wait for him to kill the Totois, and then I have the clip to clear him in the clip, because if I die then the Totois has no chance. But I get a silly bounce, and at this point I'm thinking, well, the game is over, I need the lowest roll of them all and then he'll reload faster anyway. But what I didn't realize is that I'm hunting him. He's one shot for me, I thought he's hunting me, and when I saw him drive away I thought he's hunting me, he's going to turn around and go through the city, try to be behind me. So I'll be one step ahead of him, and I'll move up and try to have the high ground. But he's not coming for me, he's running away from me. So he is already up there, at which point I was thinking, what is he doing, why is he not hunting me? He should be doing that. This is so silly. And he's playing with fear because he knows that I can kill him in 2 shots. And I'm playing as if he could kill me in 1 shot. This is ridiculous. So here, yeah, I decide to feint going that way and then go this way, and the reason I'm playing aggressively, even though I think he has me as a one-shot, is because if you look at the time, there's only 30 seconds left on the battle, so I need to do something fairly quick, and I get these nice shots on the move, and that's the game. And it was at this moment that I looked at my hit points and I saw 630 and I had a big facepalm. That was ridiculous. That was a very fun game. And a bunch of damage and an ace, although the TVP is actually aceable these days. It's no longer what it used to be. So that was a fun game. What else was fun? The client lagging, well done optimization. Let's do the T95 game. I'm platooning here with Professor Hit. Yeah, I've played the T95 mostly in platoon because while I think the tank is very good, and well, not very strong or competitive. I think it's very much fun to play. Frankly, I don't have the patience to play it solo for long, and so I play Templated. And here it's New Bay. Where do you go with the Doom Turtle? You go in the city and you try to be along, well, together with your team or in the middle of the map, with the purpose of, well, being close to the action. If you're not close to the action, it takes forever to get to the action. So that is why I'm always trying to go with my team or in the middle of the map, because that way it is fairly fast for me to actually get to see some action. And I'm still not at the front line. This tank is so slow. It's ridiculous. But it is great fun. So, excuse me. I've had an absolute blast grinding this. It was really fun. I ended up with something like 94% win rate. I had 96, yeah, I think 96. I had a single loss and the rest were all wins. But I did play in Platoon most of the games, so yeah. And I only played like 26 or something like that, not too many games. Anyway, this is the spawn on which I don't really like the heavy side, but our guys did manage to push pretty aggressively and get some sort of foothold there. And at this point I'm saying they're pushing on the other side, but I'm thinking, I'm in a T95, it will take me forever to get there. So even though I was contemplating going forward and just turning right, I thought, man, if the 183 pops into my side and shoots a headshot, it's just game over for me. So I decided to be patient and take the long way around. I'm not using the speed boost because it doesn't make too much of a difference. I am using it now because I want to help my platoon mate, and there is a high explosive shell and that's 1000 damage. Always fun when you get an HE in the Doom Turtle. So imagine how bad does your sort of positioning have to be in order to be outmaneuvered by a Doom Turtle and get HE'd. And that's another HE. 800 something damage, although to be fair that's a more obscure shot, and the 5120 sides are also quite thick, so it's not usual to get penetrated in that tank. The 50B is a different story, but the 5120 sides are a bit thicker. So now I'm moving around, I'm flanking in the Doom Turtle, and I get another HE. Well, that wasn't really an HE, I killed him, but still. And now it's a 2 versus 3, I only have my T57 to help me, and the enemies have E100, IS4 and 5. Good news is, it will be very hard for them to outmaneuver me, because their slow tanks are turreted and their one mobile tank is not turreted, it's the 5. So I should be able to get decent shots. Here I go for another very ambitious HE, which is a bad call. Should have just fired AP there, would have allowed my T57 to finish him in a single shot here. So that was a clear mistake. And now I have to turn for the IS4, not much else to do. That was a nice shot. 57 clears the Foch, and all of a sudden we are in a good position. Well, the enemy 100 is helping. If he had turned his turret towards me and fired, he would have killed me and had a good chance at winning the game. He didn't do that though, so at this point he has a pretty bad chance at winning the game. There is still a chance he could high roll to kill the T57, otherwise it takes 2 shots and that would be quite a while. Still, he does have a chance, but it's really slim. Thing is, even the E100 is fast enough to outmaneuver me. As stupid as it may sound, I'm trying to aim as well as I can to make sure I pen the shot. That's a nice max roll, and that is the win. That was a pretty fun game. Ace tanker in the T95. That was pretty nice carry, but it started with those nice high explosive shells. So that was the T95. Let's play the 30B game on Himmersdorf as well. I'm platooning with Bonsai here. It's I was thinking about saying, for those of you who don't know who Bonsai is, but you probably don't know who I am if you're watching this. Not who he is. So it's Himmelzdorf 30B with Chieftain Mark 6, not the best combination. Both of these tanks like to play full down, and we're up against Yo, E5, VK72, 113, all of which are better cooldown tanks on flat ground. These two are better cooldown tanks on hilly terrain where you can use your 10 degrees of gun depression. This is not very good. The good thing is that they only have one medium, which is the Heavy 4002, while we have two of them, so we can play more aggressive on the medium side. Of course, we do run the risk of them coming this way, but we spot them when they're not coming this way, so... well, they're not here, we can play a bit more aggressively. I'm trying not to go over aggressive though. The Progetto is capturing the cap, and Bonsai and the TD in the back are quite the way away. I'm essentially alone, but it's good to know that we at least can play a bit more aggressively here. So I'm moving up. I don't want to trade shots one for one, especially now that he can easily chimmy with his amazing hash. I'm trying to, I see them shooting the other guy, so now I can comfortably poke. That's a shot. I saw the Yo fire, so I'm moving in, and I told him to focus the 422. We're focusing the 422 here. Is the more dangerous tank. He's the easier to kill first of all, but then it also has a much greater DPM, and I figure he's more dangerous, plus he's more mobile, so he can get around the place better. And now we can also focus on the Yo. In this replay I'm again using calibrated shells. I'm also using refined gun here. I'm not sure about the previous 30B replay. Again, I'm not saying this is superior by any means. If you see, I should have hit them anyway. Just I'm saying what it is, you draw your own conclusions. I think it works perfectly fine both ways. But again, having such a bad DPM and feeling quite a bit like a alpha tank, the calibrated feels more comfortable or better than I thought it would. Anyway, there was also pretty hopeful pokes there, wishful thinking, poking like that against a 183, but he does have quite bad gun handling, so I'm hoping maybe he bounces or something. Oh, he misses altogether, you know. The cupola of the 30B is maybe big, but for a 183 gun, nothing this big really. Over the side of a barrel maybe. I don't think the Progetto will be there because by moving in that position and staying in front of an E3, I can clearly see that he has no idea what he's doing. So I'm going to have Bonsai here, clear the 225, and down goes the 225. Now we are in a tricky situation. It was a 2 versus 5, now it's a 2 versus 4, and we have TDs on left and right, and we have to kill them before they have a hit here. And I see this opportunity when the E3 shoots Bonsai. I killed the 183 with another one of those pokes. His bounce special wasn't quite on point this game, and now I push around the E3. He has a choice of which ones to shoot. Of course he's going to go for the one that he can actually shoot, which is Bonsai there. And now this is a lucky bounce he gets off the back, and this allows me to very easily now push onto the VK. Now of course this here is stupid. I should either just keep pushing or load the hit, which I do eventually do. Still, it's much better to take the time like this and aim. It's much better to do this than to take a risky shot and miss, in this context at least. But still, there is no reason for me to have to take my time with that shot. And that is a win on points in the end. That was an ace tanker. It was a very nice game. Bonsai was a bit behind of the action, but that allowed him to save his hit points, and at the end, when it mattered, he used them to take the shots from the T123, and that allowed us to break through and win the game. So that was a very fun game to play with that 2v5 situation. What is the next game? I said IS-7 on Canal, but first I will do the Leo one on Himmelzdorf because of how stupid this game is, and you'll see precisely what I mean in a second. playing the Leon and Himmersdorf. I'm a single medium against two of them on the enemy team, so it's a bit dangerous, and Adam has joined to tell me that Bonsai is the real MVP, and that is not untrue. If he hadn't come there with the hit points and helped with the focus fire, there is very likely no way that would have been a win. I mean, we still had the points, but they had enough tanks to get to the caps and corner me. So yes, the damage doesn't tell it, but for actually winning the game he was essential there. Although I'm pretty sure Bonsai is with an S. Anyway, so I see their mediums aren't here, which prompts me to push aggressively. I do have a heavy coming behind me, I believe it was the Kranvagn, and that gives me more confidence, because if I run into something here I can sort of hide, and I know I have someone coming, someone with hit points, someone with a bigger gun, and we can work together to take them out. I'm going here a bit aggressively, you could say, right behind them. That's a weird play by the Batchet. I agree with the fact that there is not much for him to do back there, but he knew that before going there, so I'm not sure what he was thinking. Anyway, he didn't have the best of games, to say so. That was the beginning of the game, and now watch what happens next. Well, that was a bad shot by me, and even was driving. But after that, I ran into the Gorilla, which was very comfortably camping at the back, which is what Gorillas do, and why they have bad stats, and Wargaming thought it was a good idea to buff them with the spawn liner and the other thing, the vibration. Anyway, now I have side shots from the rear, and this is where the Leo is just absolutely brutal. 3667 DPM. Add to that the fact that I had adrenaline, that's plus 50% for those 19 seconds. And add to that the fact that I have the best gun, well, no. Actually it is probably the best or the second best gun in the game, basically, for hitting all of your shots in a context like this. So I have no issues basically penetrating every shot I take. And in a game that lasted 3 minutes, and that began with me going around the flank and doing nothing for half of it, I end up with 6000 damage. Wasn't that the most outrageous farming? I didn't do anything, I drove around and then I just pressed the fire button and was fairly careful to not miss more than that one stupid shot at the beginning. 6000 damage out of absolutely nothing. Well, now that we've got the silly game out of the way, I had a few fun ones. IS-7 on Canal. This one was fun. Now, the IS-7 is quite easy to ace. The experience threshold for an ace tanker is fairly low, but I don't put this game because it's an ace tanker, spoiler alert. I put this game on because I think it's really fun, and I found it really interesting. So, it's Canal, and there are plays. Oh, by the way, there is a single medium on the map, and that one is on our side. So we could easily just take C, control D, and then play that way. But for some reason, I decided to go straight away, and that reason is E100, E100, VK72, and maybe even Kranvagn. Those are all very slow, all very likely to play around this area, and I am fast. I am lower profile, I can come to A, I can spot them, and I can shoot them. And if they try to cross towards me, my team can shoot them because I expected them to be at the back and get free shots into them. But all of my heavies dropped into the ditch, which is a thing you can do. I don't think dropping everyone into the ditch is a good idea, but having tanks there is definitely, it can definitely work. So now I have to actually fight my way here against the Grille. But if he's pushing this far up, he could get shot by my tank destroyers, and that's a shot from a tank destroyer. Now at this point I was already shocked that a tank destroyer staying in the back actually hit a target and was actually aiming in the relevant part of the map that actually has some control, because from here I can now, because I'm free, I can push and hit these guys in the side, and that's an unlucky bounce, but still. So at this point I was really impressed with whoever took that shot. It was either a 183 AP or a 268 HE, I'm not sure which. Oh, I guess it would have been a hash, very low roll. So at this point I decide that I don't want to shoot the 100 at the top, because he's being kinda useless. I want to shoot the guys in the ditch, because they're pushing onto my teammates and they would be more important. Nice situational awareness from the 100 to see me though, so GG on that, and I get pushed by this 100. I have to kill him now. And again, he's pushed in a position that allows my tank destroyers to shoot him. That's the second one already. What is this? The friendly tank destroyers camping at the back are actually shooting and hitting the tanks who push on me. And 2 out of 2. So at this point, dude, those tank destroyers are actually good. I couldn't believe it. So this is an interesting situation here, because, well, it will be more interesting after the Progetto dies, but he's running around like a headless chicken anyway, so he will die for sure. And there he goes. And if you see, we have a 183 up around the buildings, a 268 back in the typical sit back do nothing position, and myself here at A. And I didn't get the camp because, well, I was a bit busy. And all of the enemies are in the ditch, and what you see here is it's impossible for them to move anywhere, because no matter where they would move, we would shoot them. They cannot get out of the ditch, even though they have tank advantage, they have hit point advantage. There's just not much they can do. And this is the map control. Our positions are simply so much better than theirs that it is very hard for them to do anything that would help them win the game. And you see, they try to do something and one of us has a shot and punishes them. So this game was super fun. And again, the tank destroyers, you can say they stayed back, but look at the way they stayed back. They split up, they're essentially triangulating them. And we have 2 kills each now. The 183 is the turbo. That was very good. That was very impressive. I was genuinely very impressed with their performance, and as I said, very low base experience for an ace. Look at this, 50% win rate and 47% win rate, and the guys were absolute MVPs. They carried the game. This guy did, I have no idea how he did the damage. He probably just found from the medium side. I didn't pay attention to him. So these guys played super well this battle. Even though their damage, I mean, this guy's damage is bad. This guy has almost 4k, so that's pretty good. But the way they played the map at the end was very impressive. Now there is a possibility that they just stumbled into the correct play there by not knowing what to do and doing the right thing by accident. But I like to believe that they saw something there and did the right thing. They had a feel for it, because that was genuinely good. And they actually hit their shots when that guy pushed me, or at least the 183, maybe he shot both of them, and the 268 was just sort of there, and the 2 of us played around. I have no idea what happened, but that was really good. That was really good. Yeah, I was super happy with that game. Let's do more, because I do have a few more interesting ones, and then maybe we'll find some silly ones. I don't know. Leopard 1 on Castilla. I'm the only medium. The enemy team has a T22 and a W020, sorry. This is dangerous for me, obviously. If those guys push me, I'm in deep shit. As the saying goes, I will be knee deep in shit, but head down and feet up. Anyway, with that, let's get into the game. So I could go for middle position and try to sort of shoot the heavy flank, sorry, and just concede the Castilla here. But I saw we have a heavy coming this way and 2 TDs. I thought, oh come on, maybe I have support. If I see something early, I can run. And I come this way because I don't want to see their mediums. I don't care about them, even though they're T22 is camping there. I want to see their TDs, and I spotted both of them. Sorry, the WT is still unknown. And the T22 who was camping in the back, and that is pretty big. Because now not only did they take a bunch of damage, but I also know for a fact that if I meet anything here, it's going to be the W020. And with the Mad Leo DPM, and also the fact that I'm a tier 10 and I have more hit points, I even win that one-on-one. Now, I don't want to fight that one-on-one, but if it happens, I can win it. So with that boosted confidence in mind, I go here, I keep spotting their TDs, so my TDs can have something to shoot at, maybe my heavies, and that's an E5. That's not what you want to see, but again, that position he's using right there, and that far up, he could get shot by my some of my tanks. I think my heavies, if they move a bit up, would have a shot onto him. So now I'm not really a big fan of fighting this guy, even though he has a small gun. He's a very big fan of fighting me though, and that was stupid by him. That's a ridiculous push. My TDs absolutely murder him, and that's that. I'll pick up the kill real quick, and that's it. Which now gives me complete control of the hill. Of course, some areas of the hill are still off limits due to the T125, but there are plenty of areas on this hill that I can actually play. And I'm trying to spot them around here still, looking for the E5, I can't find them. So now I'm looking for the LTDs, and there is the Gorilla. Shot, and this is pure dominance through map control. Their TDs can't do anything because I keep spotting them because they don't have control of the hill here. And their E5, well, he has that very strong position through, but he doesn't do much from it. If he were to just move up and be here, play cooldown, try to push me out, he would be much more influential. And again, look out how much HP he has lost, because in order to get the shots he has to poke out quite far, and I just spot him and everybody shoots him. 3000 assistance at that point, and that was a... I know I can finish him off with an HE splash on the roof, but that was pretty bad. I hit the gun mantlet. So he's not picking again. Maybe he realized that I can kill him with an HE and doesn't want to risk it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's just afraid of something. No idea. So at this point I'm moving around and trying to get a different angle onto him. I see this angle, aim in the HE, and down he goes. And with that guy out of the game, they essentially have no control over anything really. The enemies simply do not have the TD positions to punish them, to punish my guys if they move up on the windmill hill there. There's the windmill there, and just not much they can do. We can just slowly creep forward and push them into a corner, and this is stupid by me. I should just stay up there. And the T22 happens to be here coming right at me, which is a risk that I took completely unnecessarily. He ammo-racks me, of course. It's a Leo. Its ammo-rack is made of cardboard apparently. I'm trying to maybe make him miss, but it's not happening. I miss instead because thank you T22 and slow down profile. And yeah, that's me gone. But I did do 5000 damage. I did do a bunch of assistance, like 3000 plus assistance damage, and I was a crucial part of my team's victory here. If you go to, can I go to? Ah, okay, the battle's over. Not going to watch from someone else's point of view. So that's it, we got even the patrol duty and the scout, and just a class 1, even though it was 3000 assisted plus 5000 dealt. But this game was so much more fun to play than the Himmelsdorf one. That one was silly and ridiculous, but this one was so much better. And next, this one I've already shown, it's not too much fun. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more games. Yeah, let's do this 5. No, I think I'll call it today because yeah, I need a break. Probably need a beer. Anyway, playing the Progetto 65T on Faust. Looking at mediums, it's 2 versus 2, they have a Progetto of their own as well as a TVP, whereas I only have a standard B, therefore they have the advantage in the fight. However, their TVP is less flexible due to the fact that it's an auto loader, not an auto reloader, and it has that super long 20-second reload. So I'm playing passively here because I know that they have the advantage, and I have no support whatsoever. It's only the standard B. TDs and heavies are all on the other side. I decided to push when I saw the TVP playing that passively and going back, but their Progetto is still here. So we can't really make a push and win this flank. That being said, tanks have been spotted on the other side as well. I see the Tortoise, and there's also the Hori moving up there. Wait, is that a Hori? Yeah, it's a Hori moving up there. I was looking at my own team's lineup and I didn't see the Hori. So like, what? Yeah. That's what happens when you keep looking at replays for a full hour. Anyway, I see that they simply have more tanks. I decide, you know what, I'm not fighting this. I'll go help kill this Progetto, which is doing great stuff. I'll help shoot this TVP as well there. Not getting shots with focus fire, helping my team there. The standard B died because he didn't do that, he just stayed there and got pushed by the 50B, and now I just run away. I don't want to fight those guys, I want to make a push on the other side. They have at least 3 tanks plus the TVP, that's 4, which means that the T30 and K91 are the only 2 on this side. The TVP would be fast enough to join, but why would he do that? Because we have more than enough tanks to kill him as well. Now here I didn't realize that I still had HE loaded after shooting the TVP, that was ridiculous. That was stupid, but I do finish the kill. I put one with the K91, now the cavalry arrives and I will put the final nail in this coffin. At this point this is another interesting play. I realized that, except for the guy who's dying right now, all of us are in the same corner, and that's not good. So I move up here because it allows me to spot pretty much everywhere. Just see them, which should make it harder for them to move forward. Sorry about that. And since we see them, I can also shoot. And this move is made with the purpose to get map control from the enemy. To get to know where they are so that we can play more comfortably and they have to play less comfortably, and I think it was nice. Now my marksmanship wasn't quite on point and neither was the RNG, but then again the Progetto gun is not known for its reliability. It is at the same time the best and the worst part of the tank, funnily enough. And yeah, I'm looking to kill the TVP here. I saw he was in this area. That is a shot in the TVP. Now the Hori is right here, so I'll just go and circle him while my team deals with one shot 50B. I reload the Cold Shoulder DPM. Now, see, I keep going for track shots, but what I do is I aim for the inside of the tank part of the track wheel. And the reason I do that is because I don't really care if I don't hit the track. I can circle him easily without, as long as I can brush, right? But, so I don't need the track. I really need the damage. So that's why I aim like that. If the track was crucial, if he, for instance, was a turreted vehicle that would also turret around me, then I have to go straight for the middle of the careful to make sure I lock them in place. It's very important I do every visible shot. Well, actually, it depends. In this scenario, I just want the damage because it's not like it's gonna kill me. But if I have an option, something like that, then activating the shot is probably more important. And that's the first thing. I played with Adam here, the guy that was on screen outside of the room a few minutes ago. Can you see this? Maybe not to YouTube. We're playing with the tune of big for you 100.
Los geht's!
Shot back, shot back, and then do take 1 2 5. And it's so much fun to play. It's fun. It's so aggressive. Good. Oh well, actually 3 points. Japanese are listening to training. It's not for me as fun as a mouse, which can make some absurd bullshit with the camera. But it is, however, is difficult to in a different way. The mouse just pushes and doesn't care, it's just tries so class on this play. It's just a boom. It just goes and slaps with the big ass gun into the drape. Absolutely brutal. And if you thought that shot was brutal, look at this. Look at that. Not only with ammo. Yeah, that's what you get for messing with your own armor. Now, the one medium comes left, our medium decided to not wait for that side to come out. Both these, we cannot really beat up the Joker. Not gonna happen. But, even though these cannot beat up the Joker, we could try to play on that side, or provide some viewings, something, combat him, try to harass him. Anyway. Decided to not use it. And it's nice and cheap to do the Joker and it's fun. That's another thing that's so satisfying about this tank. I feel like massive experience. Really, absolutely brutal. And when it works, this time.
Wir haben sie böse erwischt!
So, yeah. I will not get good at it. Most likely because everybody seems to have this type of search. Well, I end up with nice session with 30 damage, with nice frame rate, and almost 4,000 average damage. One of my comments is actually from some big differences. One of the, I think, the best games we have. There were games where I carried, games where he carried. This is where we play with the carry, and I do actually think if we play Steam client, we do and they can have the other one have to set up this screen again.
Gegnerisches Fahrzeug ausgeschaltet!
That being said, other than the badass samurai, it's about the same thing that I did, except you can take 2 shots from the mirror for a long time. And with that, I'm at about 5,000 damage with 2,000 blocked. It is some late to the party now, Galaxy, you're not late. You're an hour late, you could say that. And you missed the best games, but you can rewatch them if you want. Yeah, look at that. That is what you call a dream carry. And everybody knows that experience counts more, right? Oh, but I still have a few good games. How many? Let me check. So we've done the 100. We have this one, and this one. And then if we have an audience, we can go back to them because there are a few I jumped. having fun going to be as fun as the others. Anyway, so this is an interesting one. Maybe you can do some defeats because I do have some defeats and see how it would have been a win. That would be an interesting thing to do, but yeah, that's not the sort of thing I'll do just rambling by myself. I will keep them more insane than I already do. So STB on video. So skills grinding didn't go well. Skills grinding didn't go well. It's a competitive tank that people play competitively, you know. So the Caron 55 Anyway, let's not flame Skill Knife. He's definitely better at his game than I am at this one. Even though it looks like I'm doing very fine now, you will see the sort of errors that you simply are not allowed to make. Look at this one. Yes, I have to shoot with this hatch and you can easily defend my driveway. I don't repair because I want to be tracked by the E250. Oh, I'm not playing super well right now, losing 700 hit points for nothing. That's great. Well, I'm better than the batch. I didn't choose this game for the beginning that much as well. I think his damage record is 11.4. What is damage record? And actually that's higher than mine. I mean, how am I comparing it to? No, but seriously though, what is damage record? And he's doing bad in today's lack of consistency. Or more likely is the fact that every super unicorn who doesn't know that his basement has 5 to 7 million skills and every part of the battle is not they can win that's Alex, most of those guys are not talking to people in chat already. That's especially not already doing something. Anyway, this is where the game starts to be fun. I pushed to the T22 on the side with 2 of those guys. Now together with the 3 we can do in the back. That is definitely not good. There goes one to them. I will want to hold it because that is what all one is to I should have maybe enabled the chance for this, just to have off for the scenarios pages. So that's a nice one but I think I'm anxious for the ability might not push me. I want to do so. I think if you follow the shot, I can. This level, probably you can insert from the ability. And this person also allows me to control the unit as a group, everything down, to move the place besides the unit and the unit. Security is maybe, I didn't need to say about it, I wanted to write in chat, it's perhaps, I think it's good because what else would you want him doing? The ability is how do you do this? This ability is going to kill him, it's not that. Then have the map package. Still, that is risky. But if I would bet with the shots with the back, you should have still got one with these. Anyway, I'm playing it carefully here. I'm looking for my cannon reset as the explorer said. I got a spot with 2.2 inches and where the target around on the sides, north, east, you had around. So I have to be careful here, like going to the side, long way, driving, viewing and stuff. Actually, again, putting my shots on there. Playing it again, going back and forth. Is the best heavy medium tank destroyer in this game. Probably the Euro was loading. Yeah, I think it was loading, but not that much for sure. That was nice damage, pretty nice, but this is not the purpose of the game. I wanted to highlight the way we nicely work together with the T22 and did a lot of stuff together, and it was a very nice win as a unlikely friendly, I think. Is it just me or is the mic a bit too low? The game sounds kind of a bit. Um, well, you're the only guy who's watching, so if it's just you, it means that it is. I mean, let me lean forward. I was leaning back in my chair, which put more distance in between me and the mic, and I think that's the issue with the sound. So we've seen this one. We have Fire Race. I wanted to just focus this one. Yes, that was pretty good. Not nothing crazy. Just I like the point. So everything is in the lineups. Yeah, that's why I liked it. So you see, we have 3 mediums. They have 1. That means that the you cannot see the cursor. I can't see the cursor. Anyway, the medium corner, the top left corner of the minimap, is where the medium feature will duke it out. There's no way we lose it out. We have 3 mediums, they have only 1. The only way we lose that corner is if they come with E5, IS7, 50B, E5. Those tanks come together with the STB to kill our mediums. And so going for the middle here is such a good play, even though it's the first play that comes to your mind anyway. It's so good because if this happens, which has happened in our mediums completely won the corner, anything from the enemies that comes to the middle gets absolutely crossfired. You see the C5 tries to push and he gets shot by me and my teammates. The mediums will of course fire him into another dimension. And if they had gone for the medium kill with their heavies, all I had to do was cross the bridge with the fastest heavy in tier 10, and I would have been there. Now I'm also shooting the Villa there to put pressure onto him. You know, if he's getting crossfired as well, he might panic and do stupid stuff. I don't care about D5, he's not really a threat, although I don't want him to get away either. I'm feeling like he might still be there, and yes, he is still there. Another A chief is not even using spawn liner. Poor guy. I mean, he kind of deserved it for not using spawn liner. Here you see the shovel still a bit bad, but I can't complain about tracking him. And even though I realize that the Farsh is missing, I'm thinking I'll just push Emma heavy, and this is where the 113 is not so heavy. It's got fuck all hit points. 2300 is super low, and even though it's still heavy tank hit points, and you're not a medium or something like that, they go away very quickly. You know, when you play your E100, not even seeing your mouse, and you take your shots, everybody's shooting you, and then you still have 500 hit points at the end. Not in this tank. In this tank you go down super quickly. And well, at this point we've just demolished them. The completely split. We had control of the corner, crossfired. That was just all I wanted to show. It's how simply not looking at the lineups in case of the enemy team. The STB realized that he cannot fight against 3, but the other guys didn't realize what they're driving into, the other enemies. And just how reading the lineup, just like that was the deciding factor of the game. That was what pushed all of them into bad positions. Now, I have no idea how that bounced. I should have gone with my gut and fired hit still, but so I switched back to APIs, burnable, let's get that. Yeah, the side of the STB, especially that has that great turret traverse, and he might turn it anyway to fire the hit. So that was a nice win, just a class 1 I think, if I recall, yeah, but just I wanted to highlight again the way you read the lineups. That was super fun. And now for the most fun game, the last game I've ever played, the last game I've played in this game, the last battle I've played in this game. Man, speaking is hard. 21 platoon with Funesino on Alpenstadt. and it's no secret that, I mean, since people don't really like the medium side on this map, which is everything north side of the river on the minimap. And by people I mean generally pro players. I was watching that Nubiter with Object stream, and they both agreed that the medium side is completely pointless on this map. It's not bad when fighting across to the city, you can use it, like we will in this battle, but it's so you can't push it because there are TDs at the back and you have to go to the open and you'll lose a lot of hit points and it's just not fun. So that's what people complain, I think, about the map. That's my issue with the map, you just can't push the medium side. Now, if you want to push, you have to go to the city. And so here, I am pushing because they have a 183 and come on, he's not going to be here, and he's not here, he's on the other side. I do take a shot from the Sheridan, who is ironically called Noob Eater. Well, yeah. I hope he's stuffed already because he's not going to do much hit in this battle. Well, anyway, I'm pushing the Progetto here, and the Sheridan sadly shots down Funesino already, which is a bit odd because we've had a really nice session playing this. It was, I think, 18 out of 19 wins, or 17 out of 18, something like that. And both of us had a bunch of games. This was the best one for me. Well, of course it's the best one for me because he died early and couldn't take my damage. Well, anyway, the Nubiter has already eaten a bit of crap, and again, with bouncing to APCR shells on the plate, he goes down, and that is the flank one for us now. Yeah, that's not gonna hit. And this is not looking good. The M103 is going to go down, the 50B on the other side is not going to survive for much longer, so I'm going for the IS-7 here. And the 120 is such a fun tank. Just so different, even though it's exactly like tier 8 and 9 Italians. It's not quite because this one has really good DPM. It's so fun. Anyway, let's not go on and on about the tank. Let's go on and on about the battle. And that was a bad shot on the IS-7. I should aim more carefully. Even though it's a bit bullshit designing that tank, I should have aimed more carefully. And that is another kill, and now it's a 2 versus 3. I wanted to run away, but that's another bad shot. I didn't have the gun depression, and I see one of them is in cap. I imagine he's going to be coming after me, so I'll just push the IS-7 here. IS-7, wow, how did that bounce? Anyway, it does the logical thing of shooting the dangerous big gun that is the ruler, trying to go for the easier to kill target. And here I see that the 183 reached the cap, and I'm thinking he's going behind the IS-7. Well, but he bounces, thankfully. And I shoot the 183 first because he takes only 2 shots to kill. The issue is that my driver is dead and there is no way for me to run. I just don't have the mobility. Thankfully the 183 volunteers to die. And now, I mean, 1 versus 1 that is impossible to win. I will get one more shot and then he will be loaded and able to shoot me. I'm trying to hug him here because I know that his 6 degrees of gun depression will not be enough to shoot me comfortably. But he backs off the hill there, which is correct. He now can depress the gun and I have no idea what he's doing. Legit, I have no idea what he's doing. How is he not shooting me? And that is a win. I have no idea what that was, except for weird as fuck. But that was my one of my highest damage battles, so I'm not going to complain. And yeah, cool. And just to show that I'm not joking, like, this is my battle history. The 1-2 playing with Fune, and this is the one loss we have where, yeah, still top 2, but we still misplayed it, at least I did. You can see we're constantly up. I mean, I'm doing more damage than him because I have more practice. I don't have a lot of stuff to do, but yeah, they're pretty fun. Yeah, I think that he had some good games too, but apparently they were all over the wall. Yeah, that makes the true gamer. When he backed off that what is it, that hill there, I thought, okay, like there's no way he's not getting this shot, and he wasn't. I don't know what he did, man. And 113 is amazing. I completely agree. It's one of my favorite tanks. It's probably my favorite heavy tank to just go and play. Where is it? Yeah, low win rate, but really nice damage. I'm happy with that, especially that I was spamming it. I was binge playing this tank. It went down to like even below 3.2, and then I got it up above 3.3k average. I'm super happy with that tank. It's so nice to play. Tournament meta though, I really have doubts about that. The DPM is amazing. The gun generally is fine. And not as fine, it's good, it's really good. But it's so uncomfortable to play. It's got... You cannot really play ridgelines because it's got pretty bad gun depression. It's hard to perk because it's long with the middle turret and you have all of this front coming out first and you can just shoot a drive wheel. Unless you angle it extremely, gold goes through the upper plate. And I don't feel like... Plus, as I highlighted, the low hit points, very bad traverse speed. I don't think this becomes the meta. They might use them more, definitely, but I really don't think it becomes meta. So let's go to the games. Maybe I have... yeah, I don't have any uploaded because... well, yeah, obviously. I can't open them on this client. So I've shown... no, shown, no. This was a 6k something, but I believe it was pretty boring. Can't really recall. Let's put this one because it has a bit of a lesson in it. So we start and look at this matchmaking. Every 4005 platooning with the TVP and 5120 with standard B on fucking mines. The only tanks that we have and are capable of anything are IS-4 with Kranwagen for cooldown, and T-92 especially, maybe with standard B, for just taking the hill early, while they have double Yo with Elysium and Vari. Like, seriously? An STB which can also play very well cooldown, and also T-92 with standard B along with the STB to fight for the hill. T-30 can also fight cooldown pretty well, and the 183, so we never can push anything. Like, when I saw this matchmaking, I thought, man, there's no way we're doing anything. And yeah, and it's freaking Elysium. It's not like some guy I've never heard of. You know, it's one of the OGs. Well, anyway, I don't have chat on, but it was a pretty hilarious exchange at the beginning of this battle. So I'm camping here because I'm the only tank destroyer in the battle, I mean for my team, and having this position here at the back is just super powerful to control the hill and everything, so this is why I'm here. And that enemy platoon of EG and Vale is... and the guy is no longer in Vale now, but still, he's in a similarly top clan, that's for sure. So they went for the village, which is weird. They're playing Yos, and with our only TDs of 4005. I don't get why they didn't just push the hill. On the same note, RIS4 and Kranwagen went village as well. That's weird. Like, nobody went for the hill. That's so weird. And I ended up getting some nice shots and doing some decent damage. And Alex here and his TVP was able to hold them back on the hill, you know, spot them a bit and such, because it's an 82 gun. I had to take a shot for it, but it's worth. I tried to teach this guy a bit of a lesson. There we go. I take a lot of damage, but at least he takes even more, and he's done. And now the Yos finally go for the hill, and they go all the way up the hill. That's what you expect. Absolute dominance. And their entire team just crumbled around them, and now they're all that's left. And since I have Spoiliner, I know they are very unlikely to be able to one-shot me. I mean, not very unlikely. I need a bit of a high roll on the AP.
Enemy armor is
Yeah, that guy missed both of them, thankfully. And yeah, it was very... Elysium wouldn't have missed. Just kidding. That's the Yo gun, and yeah, everybody just goes to the mouth of the hill and starts out trading them. Since that guy missed both of his shots on me, now they are only one gun fighting against all of that, and they go down. And imagine 4005 with TVP on mines against EG Vale in Yos, and we won. If you can take anything away from this, is that you should never consider a battle lost just by looking at matchmaking. And it was mines, I should say that. For me, of course, a battle is already lost when it says mines, but even though I can't say I've had much fun playing this battle, because well, I just stayed in spawn, didn't do much, I mean, except for 5000 damage. It was such an interesting experience to just win against these guys on mines with this platoon. Like, it was such a weird encounter. Thought that was weird, and that is why I saved this replay, not because of the game, but because we beat those guys on mines with these tanks. And it was a team effort, of course. Mine is perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Well, if it were balanced, I think those guys would have won, right? Actually, no. Nah, that was weird. Anyway, Vickers, it was a bit too standard. Leo, I don't recall. Was this a good game? I think it was a pretty good game. I know it was high damage, but I don't think it was too enjoyable. I don't really remember. I do remember, however, that in this game I played with Gunlink Drive and Refined Gun. Usually I play with Supercharge on Leo, and nice driving by the way, and V-Stabs. So I switched those two around, and after playing a bit I don't like it. I don't like it. There are situations where it works flat out better, but I didn't like it. I played a few games and just... For mid to long, but mostly mid distances, you have to aim more, and if you have a really tough shot, you know, super long distance, small target, then yes, it is better. But for the usual target, which is reasonably sized, you will hit it anyway. So sacrificing that aim time, especially that the Leo goes at 65 kilometers an hour, so you will bloom quite a bit, that the V-Stabs has a bigger effect. I'm not exactly sure what those dispersion numbers mean, but when you go at 60 kilometers an hour and then stop to aim, you will definitely feel the difference. As you can see here, I was going uphill. I was fairly slow and I didn't have any issues aiming, but at some point I will. And I switched back to my old setup because of that. Anyway, what I found interesting about this battle, except for the fact that it was an ace and reasonable damage, is the way I just move around the hill on all sides. And it is a recurring theme. I've done this before a bunch of times. It's always nice to see how the battle just shifts around, and I just make these small adjustments from one part of the hill to the other and just keep farming for the entire battle. And that's about it. I noticed that they're coming behind, perhaps a bit too late, but at least I noticed. And I'm off to the next part of the hill. Well, I'm safe again, yay! And yeah, what's going on the rest of the battle is just ring around the rosy. Everybody running around the edge of the map and, you know, Our guys are pushing hard, the enemies are pushing hard, and at some point them catch up a guy who was left behind and he's dead. Not terribly exciting, but well, what can you do? And watch this. How good was that shot? I mean, of course it was RNGesus, but how good was that shot by him, by the AMX? That was gorgeous. Anyway. V-stabs over refined gun and mobile tanks as I'm not standing still while shooting most of the time, yes. But no, at the same time. There are tanks, mobile tanks, where I prefer refined gun. Two of them that come to mind are the 121 and the Vickers, which are for the same reason, namely that they are trash on the move and you need to stop to aim anyway. And so, since you anyway have to stop to aim, might as well be more accurate, especially that both of those guns are quite inaccurate by themselves, so refined gun does help on those. And I've tried it a bunch of times on 30B, I've tried it on STB, and it's not bad, it's just depends. Sometimes I just feel like it, but many times I don't feel like it. And what I'm doing here by pushing this AMX is a bit risky because they could be up on my right and just nuke me with an HE, especially the 100. So yeah, greediness for damage sometimes pays off, I guess. I'll give it a go. Well, I mean, for the Vickers, I definitely recommend giving it a go. For Leo, 30B, STB, those ones, and look at this. This is why I don't like it. With V-stabs, that shot doesn't miss. It just doesn't. I mean, it might, but you know, you have to stop and aim it. That's annoying. So sometimes it's fun. I had refined gun 30B replay, at least one of them on this stream, and also one of my highest damage in the STB game was 7,600, I think. I spent a bunch of the battle hull down at a distance sniping a Jagdpanzer 100 with heat, and that again is a refined gun. And for the STB it works a bit better because it's slower, but it is worth a try, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend running it for, I mean, wouldn't actually recommend as in you have to try it for more than Vickers and 121. The other ones are just a thing of taste, I guess. Do I have interesting games? I'd be damned if I remember this game, so it definitely wasn't good. Exactly the same story for this one. E3, are we looking at an E3 game maybe? Because I don't have much else. Oh, let's look at this one. STB, I think it's calibrated plus supercharge plus V-stabs, but I'm not 100% sure. It might be gunlink drive instead. Yeah, it's gunlink drive in this battle, so yeah, this battle is calibrated gunlink drive and V-stabs, yeah. And you'll see why I remember that. So I'm platooning with Adam here, 2 versus 2 on the medium side. I play way too aggressively here, and yeah, that's not good. Thankfully, the enemies play way too stupidly, and they completely discoordinate. The Vickers wants to go punish me, while the 121 wants to not go punish me. And so we can just focus fire on the Vickers and kill him, and then we can push and kill the 121. It's just isolating, defeating them in detail one by one. Typical military tactics. Perhaps I'm way too enthusiastic and losing a lot of hit points that I shouldn't be losing. I'm definitely too enthusiastic and losing hit points that I shouldn't be losing. There was no point in taking those shots. I could have stayed a little bit further back, maybe. Ridge on the left. On the right, sorry, as I'm looking now. And maybe split the aggro, because now I'm a one shot and that is simply not good. So this is the big error so far. It's just no point in losing those hit points. especially that 1-to-1 hits fucking hard. And now I'm moving around the very back. I know I have enough gun depression to just play the position in the corner here, and surprise surprise, we have a camper here. He was back there eating his burger in peace, and I go and disturb him. Although his a 268 is probably having a sip of vodka. And by sip I mean a can. And by can I should say a bottle. Anyway, I can just penetrate him very easily. Even with AP here, I don't even need a hit. Well, I do get a bounce because the 268 is based off the IS-8 hull. And we all know how that one bounces, but yeah. And this is the first place where you see that I switched to gunling drive. I didn't give quite enough lead there for that track shot. And maybe it was just a little, but it's a very tiny margin there, but I've played this tank so much with supercharged that I just have it in muscle memory how much I need to lead my shots, and that's it. I pretend I didn't hear that. To be fair, I actually didn't hear it, so I have no idea how bad it sounds, but it's probably very bad. So that's a kill on the T-57, that's a nice high roll, and they're just pushing into a crossfire there. I can shoot them. I shot the E4, which is quite clutch there to get the kill, and now I should be looking at the other side on the E4. I have no idea why I thought the T-57 would get the kill and I can just focus on the mouse. And that should have been a hit shell, and those were two more stupid errors in this battle. But it is still winnable. E4 is a one shot, and the mouse is a few shots away from that, but you know, you can hold down, you can circle him. It's definitely playable. And I spot him going for the big cap, which is good for me, right? I can stay pulled down here in A and shoot him. And that is exactly what I'm going to do, especially that I have calibrated. I should have no issues penetrating him. But there is one issue, and that is that sometimes my hands are not my own. And you will see that in a second. Yep, that is the hit shell velocity. I was used to supercharge again, and there you saw I was just kept going in and out of sniper mode because I forgot which one was it, and I was just spamming the button like an idiot, and then I didn't realize that I went too far up. That should have been a victory. I could have easily put 2 more shots in that guy and then found the one-shot E4. That would have been a nice victory. And do we have any more games? Actually, I don't think we do. That are genuinely interesting. That I haven't shown, obviously. Small 40 games are quite boring. Just a big farm. Let's show one game in the E3. Let's go for this one, on Oasis Palms. It was pretty fun. It wasn't the ace tanker, but yeah, I will call it a day after this game. Because since I've done this anyway, I might as well get all the games out. Sort of mentality. The ones that I wanted to get in are already in, so it's not a big deal, but this is the last one. Since I have the 3 games, might as well include them. Oasis Palms, playing the heavy side because that's where the heavies went. And even though the E3 is quite mobile, 35 kilometers an hour top speed, that's not too shabby, especially after you play the T95 and T28. I see that we are all here and they have tanks on the other side, and what do you do here? You just push hard, because otherwise they'll be behind you, they'll be crossfiring you, and what are you doing? You're surrounded. We use the fact that we have tank advantage and we go murder them. Use the speed boost, which is I might actually drop the speed boost altogether after they nerf it, and this time it is very useful, but it's not as useful as I was expecting it to be, frankly. So I don't know, I'll have to see about that one. Still, I think it's better than having a grenade. But 2 repairs are must, because you see how easy those track wheels are to take down with damage. The 260 went through no issues. And my push here has motivated my teammates to also go in. The 422, however, doesn't know about the snowplow on the back of the 263, which acts as space timer actually, and he splashes his cash. Anyway, we are now 2 tanks up. Sadly, however, everybody pushed like like the herd effect. They saw us pushing and they pushed with, even though the enemies were going to be dead by the time they showed up. And so, yeah, that's... We're up in a corner again, have to fight for map control, and funnily enough, I'm making the exact same play I've made at the beginning of the battle. But now it's the other side. You see, I'm pushing this corner hard and the entire team is behind me, but now we're pushing towards our spawn rather than from our spawn, which is quite hilarious. I get shot in the side though, which is never a good sign. I don't want to push the Sheridan, he just got the mobility, and then I'm in a corner. I want to be into the action because my tank is slow, and I'd rather be in the action. And how good is that? 1063 HE. Ooh, lovely. Sadly, it's what is it? It's not a Namorak, only damaged Namorak, but still, that's good. The E3 is apparently getting a stun nerf on the hatch after the update. They decreased some of the main armor on the hatch, but added some space to armor. I have no idea whether that is actually true. If you recall, there were a lot of armor changes on Blitzhanga for the previous update. That was just from the armor highlighting, and the E3 model was not functional, to say so. So maybe they didn't implement it properly, and now they're finishing the implementation for this tank. I'm thinking is a possibility. Yeah, send the link. I'm curious to see. More resistant to heat shells in the hatch, however, I think it's a buff rather than a nerf, because what high penetration armor piercing shells are there? The Hori, E3 and E4, 4005 and maybe 1A3. Other than that, all of the shots that are going to threaten to penetrate your hatch are heat. And so it's more of a buff, because those shots will penetrate anyway, probably. Except for the 1A3, I'm not sure about that one. Anyway, that was a pretty fun game, you know, making those pushes, 5000 something damage. Experience wasn't that high, but that's it, and I swear this is the last one. Where is the False Creek? This one. I don't even want to show the full replay, I just want one little detail of it. Actually, 2 little details of it. So I'll just skip through. Is it paused? Oh no, I'm just capping. Yeah. And I think this is where I take that shot, because I still 0 with 0. Yeah. And is this another game? Yeah, this is another game. Yeah, this is the wrong game. Fuck. Excuse me, professional production quality here. I think this is the game I'm looking for actually. And what happens is, here I noticed that they have nobody spotted in C, and decide to run, because if they're not in C then they are here. And I told that to him and he acknowledged that, and he said that he was trying to get too many more shots before running, which is a good thing to say, because I do that all the time and I died countless times for that, especially on this map. So, oh, look at this. This is what I wanted to show. You can pen the T-57 sight with high explosive. Everybody knows that. I mean, I think if you shoot in between the tracks. But this is a medium tank, and look how sweet this one is. Oof. Man, that was such a satisfying shot to land. Loved it. Yeah, so after that it's just a bit of a cleanup, you know, getting the cab, then driving it to my gun, and you die at the last moment because you've run on points and you want to show how much of a aware player you are, and you looked at the points. So that's it. That's all the replays I had to show and I wanted to show. So I'm done. And I don't want to give you money, Wargaming. Ah, and Bonsai has joined. Oh, I'm ending the stream. I'm literally ending the stream right now. Yeah, that was perfect timing. I was saying goodbye and you appeared. But I do have an hour and a half, say, worth of replays and commentary on all sorts of stuff. And the replay I had with you on Himmelsdorf is in the somewhere when I was playing TTB and you were playing Chieftain. Did it in full this time. So man, of course everybody joined after I finished. Yeah, you know, man, do your stuff. But if it's anyone who's losing, it's you, man. I had a great time. Not. Man, okay, fine. Since Bonsai is here, I'll find one more replay to look at, and then I'll end it just so you haven't come for nothing. What tank do we look for then? Let's do one with dedication. 140 and 62A weren't great. That one wasn't great either. Legend. Let's just do the E3 Ace Tanker and have it as the true last replay. On Canyon again. Man, I've had all of the games on Canyon today. It's the third one, I think? Fourth? Don't really remember. And what am I doing this battle? I'm going left, right? Yeah, I'm going left, okay. My initial thought was to go right and support the guys going hill, but I see my heavies going left, and since D3 is famously very slow, I want to go with my team, as always. And these positions on the left are pretty good. You can get shots on their flank, through the middle, you can even make some pushes. It's a nice flank from this spawn. And yeah, not much happening at the beginning. That's the issue with the E3, it moves so slow. And I have no idea how this even is an ace tanker, because if I recall correctly I don't really do much at the start. And yeah, just looking for a shot and not noticing the obvious shot that was in front of me. So again, good gameplay and bad gameplay don't necessarily mean good result and bad result. Yeah, the Oasis spawns game when D3 was much better. Still, this is going to be the ace tanker, so it probably catch up at some point. Anyway, I decide to move in because they're pushing in on the back, we're all in a corner, and what do you do when you're in a corner? You find the enemy's weakest link and break it. In this case, I figured it would be these two heavies. I put one in the 100 before moving on to the crown wagon, and what this allows me to do, this position, is just go cool down against the 100, and now I can solo hold this flank with ease, as long as I don't get shot in the side by the tortoise. And by holding this flank, even by myself, I can just murder them. And even, no, not even, but because I'm holding this, it gives my team the possibility to get advantages on the other side of the map. Now, that's not going to happen because they decide to push with me, which is perfectly fine. to kill the 100 gives us an advantage on this side, and so we will push the advantage. I'll let them do the killing there because oh, that was a max roll. Okay, now I understand how I got the damage in the ace tanker. Now I remember, yeah. My test stream do not show up in videos around homepages. Wait, you want them to show up, or I thought you took them down because mine simply do by default. Anyway, so we've killed that guy. Now just pushing. There's a tortoise, the one that has been shooting me on the side. I'm pushing. This is the thing about slow tanks, heavies, and TDs like this one. People say they're easier to play because they have armor and they're more straightforward, like I show armor to enemy bounce, I fight sort of mentality, but it's not really like that, is it? Because the armor comes with god damn it, what have I done? Okay. The armor comes with a lack of mobility, and okay, there you go. The lack of mobility means that you have to be more aware of the map, you have to think ahead, you have to position yourself better. And so, for me, slow tanks with armor and that sort of stuff are less forgiving to play. And maybe on a mechanical level you're more likely to get away with stupid stuff, but map-wise you're less likely to be able to get away from a bad situation, is what I'm essentially trying to say. And yeah, that's it basically. What can I say? I keep pressing forward and I use all of my hit points to do as much damage as I can, and yeah, just stand forward here. There's nothing going on. I just pick up the last kill and that's it. 5,900, and it is an ace tanker finally. 1600 base XP, that is pretty high. To be fair, I did do some assistance, and with that I will finally call it a day because my throat is getting sore. And it says 3 concurrent viewers. Yes guys, come in as I'm saying goodbye. What a way to end, eh? Yeah, I'm looking at analytics here and I have about half an hour of nothing. Then Adam showed up for about 10-15 minutes. And then nothing, and then everybody started coming as I was approaching the end. Nice. Well, watch which scene. Oh, I'm on the right scene. Good. So thank you guys for joining in. I hope you enjoyed it. Did you guys enjoy it? I have no idea. Was it any good? Well, the one of you who actually saw part of it. God damn it, man. Yeah, well, I'll see you guys sometime in a platoon or a stream or something. Thanks for coming, and have a good day, evening, night, whatever it is, party time. Yeah, see you guys.